Welcome to A Great Alternative. My name's Gavin and today I'm going to be showing you how to make some cocktails based on ingredients made from dandelions. So the 5 cocktails we're going to make today are, as I said, based on dandelion based ingredients, and the sort of ingredients that we're talking about is I've got some dandelion root infused vodka, which is a really strong flavoured bitter drink with notes of coffee and spices. And just for interested, this is what dandelion roots look like when you begin. We've also got dandelion leaf bitters, and this is made from dandelion leaves, flower stalks, there's some ginger, some discarded orange and lemon peel in there, all infused in vodka to make a really bitter, floral, but really tasty note to add to your cocktails. And the third ingredient is dandelion flower honey. Dandelion flower honey is a really simple to make ingredient. It comes from the nectar in the flowers, it's completely vegan, and all of these ingredients we'll talk about in other videos, but today we're just going to make the cocktails from them. So we'll get started with a dandelion Negroni. Now, if you're not familiar with a Negroni is a very old-fashioned cocktail. It's a short cocktail, it's not a tall one, and it's really bitter. Personally, I love bitter flavours, but sometimes the textbook Negroni is even still too bitter for me. So what I've done is I've made some dandelion ingredients to go in that Negroni, and I've sweetened it a little for my taste. And that's something you can take away. You can sweeten or make things more bitter for yourselves as you go along. So the main ingredient that's going to be the base of this is my dandelion root infused vodka. Like I say, we'll show you how to make that in a future episode. So let's get started with putting it all together. So I'm going to need a mixing glass for starters. This is a stirred cocktail, not shaken, so we're just going to do it in the glass. And we need 25 ml of this dandelion root vodka infusion. So I'm just going to pour that into my jigger, straight into the glass. Next up we need the same amount of gin, so another 25 ml. The next ingredient is sweet vermouth. It's labelled as sweet, but you'll find when you try it, it's got a heavy bitterness in there as well. It's part of what makes the cocktail so bitter. And just to sweeten it up a little bit, we've got the dandelion flower honey, and I'm going to put about 5 ml-ish in there. Give it a sweet touch. And the dandelion leaf bitters, just to give it an extra note, sort of works under the main bitterness. A small splash of those bitters. So I'm going to add some ice in there. Excuse fingers, I'm doing this just for me. If I was serving other people, of course, I'd use a scoop or some tongs. Good handful of ice in there. And we're just going to stir that in the glass. We're mixing the ingredients, but also stirring cools it all down and dilutes it slightly. I can tell you another time the difference between why we stir some and why we shake some, but that's what we're doing for this one. So that's about good enough there. I'm going to prepare the glass that we're going to serve it in now. So we're going to begin with a fairly standard rocks glass. You don't have to use these fantastic architectural ice cubes, but they do look the business when you've just got one big ice cube like that. And I'm also going to do a small slice of orange peel. So I'll just take the stirrer out. We've got the filter to go in the top, so I can pour this into the glass. Pour it straight on that ice cube. And with the orange peel, I'm just going to squeeze it over the glass just to express the oils. None of the juice, just the oils. I just put a little slit in the back of it. Sits on the glass, and there you have Dandelion Negroni. So now we're going to look at an alternative version of a dirty martini. The classic martini is gin and vermouth in various quantities depending on how dry or sweet you like it, and they're often garnished with olives. Now, a variation on that is the dirty martini, which I'm sure must have been discovered by accident when someone accidentally dropped some of the olive brine into the martini drink, and it's become a fantastically popular thing. But today we're going to do it with dandelion flower bud capers instead to make our dirty martini. So let's get stuck in. We're going to need a mixing glass and straight in with 50 ml of gin. Just use your favourite gin, it doesn't have to be anything in particular, although one with no extra flavourings is always best. I'm going to put in about 10 ml of dry vermouth, because I don't like mine too dry. And then to that I'm going to add 10 ml of the brine from Dandelion Capers. So this is a salted vinegar brine. We don't want too much because we don't want to over flavour it, and I've strained it out separately into a different bottle so that we don't dirty the martini too much. Dirty martini is good, cloudy martini not so good. So then there's a final touch. I'm going to add a little splash of dandelion leaf bitters, which is perfect, and then we're going to top the glass up with some ice. Now, I'm not James Bond, so I like my martinis stirred, not shaken. Just mixing all of the ingredients together, cooling it quickly, and just diluting it slightly as the ice starts to melt in the alcohol. That's all the ingredients mixed nicely. So I'm going to pick a martini glass and using the strainer, pour straight into the glass. That's the martini. Now, we're not using olives today, so we do need a garnish, and we're going to use the dandelion capers. So we're going to put 3 dandelion capers onto a cocktail stick. Again, excuse fingers, I'm just doing it for me. This is my stock of dandelion capers. And these are unopened flower buds from dandelion plants, just pickled in a bit of salted vinegar. I find that dandelion capers are a bit more sort of meaty, they've got a better texture to them. So we're going to garnish with the dandelion capers, and there we have a dirty dandelion martini. So next up we've got a dandelion root dark and stormy. Dark and stormy is a classic simple cocktail usually made with dark rum and ginger beer, possibly lime juice, possibly bitters depending on how you like it. I like to make it completely different, of course, because I'm like that, and we're going to shake some of the ingredients for this one. So I've got my cocktail shaker, dead simple to use. I'm going to start by filling it with ice. So now we're going to add the dark rum, 25 ml of dark rum. This is where I get different with my dark and stormy. I like to add 25 ml of tequila. And tequila works really well with rum. And what we're going to do is shake that up to cool it down really, really quickly and dilute it a little for about 10 to 15 seconds. You can feel that's nice and cold and well mixed. I'm going to pour this into a tall glass. I'm going to keep the ice with this one. I'm not straining it out. So there's the basic mix. What I'm going to add to that is the ginger beer to top it up. And then I'm going to add some ready-made dandelion root coffee. And what I'm going to do is just pour that over a bar spoon so that it stays at the top of the glass, which works perfectly when you're not in front of a camera. And there is dandelion root coffee, dark and stormy.
What's the reasoning, maybe flavour palette wise, to use coffee in this drink?
The ginger, the dark rum and the tequila, it's all really, really spicy, but it's the sort of spicy that burns the back of the palate. Whereas the coffee has got a completely different type of spice. It's the sort of rich spices that you get in your Christmas spices, in your Christmas cake, that sort of thing. So it's a sweeter spice that's closer to the front of the palate. So you're getting a really spicy drink, but it's all over the mouth, lots of flavours in there. So even though it did all blend together, it doesn't always work the way you want to. It's just such a lovely sort of autumnal winter drink because it's got those spices and that richness in there. It really, really warms you up from the centre. So it's a good cold weather drink. Okay, so the next cocktail we're going to look at is called a Dandelion Root Old Fashioned. For those of you that follow me, you might have seen my Gold Fashioned, which is a slight variation on the Old Fashioned. Just a little bit about Old Fashioned. Lots of people claim they invented it, lots of countries claim they invented it. No one really knows, to be honest. So actually, it's my belief that it came about as being the old-fashioned way of serving a particular spirit. So it could have applied to any spirit at all, but generally they're made with whiskey. So anyway, that's my excuse for making this one without whiskey. So what we're going to do is we'll start with a mixing glass, and we're going to have some dandelion root vodka, 50 ml. So this is going to be in place of the whiskey that would usually be used. Now to that we're going to add about 10 ml of dandelion honey, roughly, and a splash of dandelion leaf bitters. So everything in this is coming from the dandelion. I'm going to add some ice. Plenty of ice in there, get it nice and cold. And we're going to stir this in the mixing glass. So the syrup's quite thick, the bitter's really thin, and all together with the ice just helps to get it nice and evenly mixed. Cools it down quickly and starts to dilute it slightly with the water. As far as the contents are concerned, it's as easy as that. Now we just need to build the drink. So I'm going to put that to one side. We need a standard rocks glass and a nice flashy architectural chunk of ice in there. We're going to pour our drink over the ice. And to that we're going to do the same as I like to do with a lot of these drinks, using orange peel. And then slice some off, trying not to get any of the fruit underneath. And then use that orange peel to express the oils across the drink. Little slit, the orange peel on the edge of the glass, and there is a dandelion root old fashioned. So what I really like about this cocktail is we're using everything from the dandelion. So we've got the roasted dandelion roots infused into vodka. We've got the sweetness of the dandelion flower honey, and we've got the bitterness of the dandelion leaves, which often puts people off. And together you've got that sweetness, the spiciness from the coffee-like flavour, and the bitterness all coming together to make a really complex drink. And quite often with wild ingredients, I like to add a bit to other drinks, but in this particular instance, everything coming from the dandelion just works really well together. So our next cocktail is an alcohol-free cocktail, or mocktail if you like, and we're going to build it in the shaker. So we're going to start with about 60 ml of dandelion, freshly brewed dandelion root coffee. That's about 60 ml. And we're going to want about 15 ml of dandelion flower honey, so quite a lot to add the sweetness to it. About 15, and to that we're going to need about the juice of half a lemon, so I'll just do that. There we go, and I'm going to top that up with ice now. And now give it a shake for 10 to 15 seconds. That's getting good and cold, so that's about ready. I'm going to build it into the glass now and filter it into the glass. That's the coffee mixture. I'm going to top that up with some tonic water. That is going to fizz a lot, so I'm going to give it a second before I put any more in. It's not that uncommon for me to forget and end up with coffee foam going all over the side. And I'm going to finish that up with a few more bits of ice just in the glass. And that's going to take a while to settle. As it does, add more tonic water, top it up until you've got about a ½ an inch settled on the head. And if you're feeling really brave, you could actually garnish with the freshly picked dandelion flower. There is some latex-like liquid inside the stem of the flower, which it can be a diuretic, so it can irritate the bladder and make you go for a wee more, but you'd have to have loads of it for it to have that effect. You'd have to have even more of it if you were to get the effect that's sometimes worn off for diarrhea, that sort of thing. What we're doing is basically we're dipping it in a drink. You're not actually planning on eating the stem anyway. But if it's a concern, I mean, you don't have to have it in there at all, and you've just got a bit more room for that tonic water.
So Gavin, thank you so much. It's been fascinating to learn more, especially because dandelions, for whatever reason, seem to be a subject matter that I've found, at least on the channel, has been popular. So when we met, and I actually did some filming with Gavin about a cocktail event that you were doing, and you used various ways of using dandelion that I was like, oh, I wonder if Gavin could come in and do a video for us. So we are planning, hopefully, to do some more. Is that right? You know, to delve into how you actually produce some of these, you know, the honey or the coffee, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's all simple stuff, but yeah, we'll delve into that. And honestly, we could probably do 100 dandelion-based cocktails. There's no limit to it. We can just keep going.
Yeah. So I suppose if you've watched this, you know, liked what we've made, but maybe there's either certain flavor palette or maybe even certain spirits or, you know, alcoholic, non-alcoholic things that you're like, oh, could you have a go about this? Because that's what I found fascinating about talking to someone like yourself, because I'm a complete beginner. We were going to have a shot with me sort of going, oh yes, and trying to explain in a very articulate way why I like it, but I can't do that. Oh, I like that. I like that. That's all we'd end up having. But yeah, if there's something specific that you'd like Gavin to delve into more in future videos, we are definitely planning in doing more, whether it be seasonal, whether it be, like I say, specific ingredient related. Let us know down in the comments. Otherwise, Gavin, tell me more. How can people find out more about yourself, whether it's, I know you've written books and you do events. Where can people go to find out about that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so my main website is foundfood.com. I sometimes publish under the name The Wild Mixologist because of this sort of stuff. And yeah, you can find all my books, events, all sorts of stuff, how to contact me on foundfood.com. And I think all my social media handles are at foundfooduk. So pretty simple to find me.
Excellent. And also I want to give a big shout out to New White Lion. So that's the boutique B&B that we're in today, because if you've watched various videos on the channel, I have a shed and I've done things where we're outside, which we did think about doing, but we're filming this, it's late October that we're filming this, so it's not a springtime dandelion scene that we can get. So we thought it'd be really great to do something indoors. So this is, I've spoken about it lots of times before, Llandovery in mid Wales, where the sheep festival is. The farmers market video that I made, that's where this is. So if you're going to travel to mid Wales, I'd absolutely recommend it. It's a beautiful place, well, and it's great. I think this is a great place for like having a little event, you know, a cocktail event like this, because you could, that's what, when I first came here for a different reason, I'd love this room, and they've given us the use of this space totally for free. So yeah, I just want to give them a shout out basically. So that's New White Lion in Llandovery. Otherwise, that's it for today. Same as with all the videos, please like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. If you're interested, you can go on Patreon. I always find this a bit difficult to get, you know, the sales pitch. Patreon, if you want to help us out, that'd be really grand. I mean, even just going on to, you know, helping Gavin out, go buy his book, actually. Don't go on Patreon, go and have a look at Gavin's book for today. And also you've got courses on your website as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You can sign up to all kinds of beginners all the way through to foraging masterclasses.
Excellent. Otherwise, give us some ideas for some future videos. Yeah. So, that's it for today, everyone. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.